Dun dun dun.
Is that your getting in the mood sound?
Yep.
Prepping for the podcast. Gotta make music. Are you eating?
No.
Hey. Stop it. It's gonna be picked up on the mic. I don't know how I'm gonna cut that out. That's fine. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Anyway, maybe it's just me, but has this week felt like it's been long? Like, I know that we recorded last week and everything. Hello, Sawyer. It just feels like it's been a very long week.
Yeah,
Or is
actually.
it just me?
No, it has. Just the last couple of days has already felt pretty damn long.
Yeah, well, we were gone hiking all weekend and up at Storyland, so the weekend felt... Actually, it didn't even go by fast. It felt long, but it was good. But, like, just last week from when we recorded to now, it feels like it's been so much longer.
It has. I'm glad it was good for you.
Well, good is subjective. My body hates me, but it was fun.
Aw, you sore?
Yeah. Carrying around like a 25-pound baby on my back and hiking, 5 miles? It was fun. It was worth it.
It's practice for when you go to Disney.
Yes. That's exactly what we kept telling Amelia, too, because she would go, my legs are tired. Can you carry me? We're like, you got to push a little bit further. You're practicing for Disney. You got to get used to it now.
Yeah, pretty much. But she's still small enough that you guys could get a stroller or bring a stroller if you want.
We're getting a double stroller, too, just in case.
Okay, good.
Yeah, gotta, was it cross all them T's and dot all them I's?
Uh-huh. We won't have that option when we go next year, so take advantage.
Yep. Yeah. All right. We kept talking about this earlier. I'm going to tell everybody else. We want to play Destiny, so we're going to get through this so we can get to play.
Yeah.
It's a new week, new story stuff.
We love you guys,
Yeah,
but we love Destiny more.
Okay, you said it, not me. Don't you implicate me.
It was your
feelings are
suggestion.
your own. Don't you answer. Shh. Shut the fuck up. How dare you?
Not going to throw me under the bus. The hell?
No, you pulling me along with you. All right, do you want to just jump into it?
Sure.
So we can gets to gaming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Episode 41?
Yes. Damn it. How'd you know what I was trying to think of? I was actually verifying with myself. I'm like, yeah, last week was 40. I'm good. That's twice in less than 5 minutes. You got another one waiting? All right. Ramblepack Podcast, episode 41. I am Adam.
And I am Mike.
And news was light.
Yes, it was. Though part of it was a little sad.
Well, which part you talking about?
I'm talking about a part of our childhood going away.
Going away, or we lost part of it?
Yeah, we lost part of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are Batman fans, another great voice actor passed away. The original voice actor for Harley Quinn, actress Arlene Sorkin, passed away on the 27th at the age of 67.
Any idea what from?
The article didn't say.
Okay.
But
I just learned about this like after we came back too, because you don't have service up in the mountains.
I was just like, oh. For some reason, I thought it was a different actress, but I'm like, no, not this one.
Yeah, that's 2 of the 3 big ones from the animated series.
Yeah. For God's sake, somebody wrap Mark Hamill in a bubble.
Yeah, seriously.
Keep him
Protect
freaking
him
on.
at all costs.
I know. But yeah, no. What I didn't know is that she was actually how Harley Quinn came to be and how she got the role.
Tell me, because I don't even know.
Apparently, the writer, the writer for the animated series, wanted to introduce a new character that would be like a sidekick for the Joker, and he was like a big fan of a certain show, and her character, Arlene Sorkin, who she was an actual an actress prior to being a voice actress in the 80s, and one of her roles, I don't remember what show it was, but she ended up being in one of the skits. She ended up playing a court jester, and he liked her so much that he designed Harley Quinn after that jester, and asked.
That's cool.
Yeah, he asked her specifically, "Hey, do you want to voice this role?" It was only supposed to be for one episode.
Did she use the same voice like for the Jester character in Harley Quinn, or did she like refine it?
I don't know, but I'm assuming it's got to be very similar though.
Yeah, since it's based off that character.
Right.
That's cool.
I thought that was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that like Harley Quinn premiered in the animated series, and that's how she got it. And her popularity is how she got into canon with comics and stuff like that. But even prior to that, I had no idea.
That's cool.
Yes, it is.
It's a neat little story.
I want to say
To a lesser extent, funny enough, it deals with games, game shows specifically, but Bob Barker died too.
Yeah.
Poor guy made it to 99. He almost hit triple digits.
Oh jeez. I think the biggest meme I've seen so far is the freaking guy is such a legend that he got as close as possible to $1 without going over.
Oh, god damn it. I have not seen that one. I've seen more wholesome one where it's like, what is it, like the staying home at 6 starter pack where it's like soup, a bed, and the price is right.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That is horrible. Our childhood is going.
I know, don't remind me. You need to feel old, just watch our kids grow up.
Oh, fuck yeah. Holy shit.
It's sad. Another one of those legends.
Mm-hmm.
Spay and neuter your pets. In his honor.
Oh yeah, that was his slogan, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Fuck.
I remember that from the show too, and because of Robot Chicken, because they did a spoof of him where he's like a superhero and he's going around chopping dogs' balls off.
Oh fuck! I did
and
not
like,
see
at
that.
the end. Yeah, at the end he like pops in and goes, "Spay and neuter your pets, or I'll fucking kill you."
Oh jeez.
This was old school Robot Chicken too.
Oh fuck.
It was great.
All I could think back is freaking the Bob Barker's cameo in Happy Gilmore.
Oh yeah, that was so good. That was excellent.
And then they end up reprising that skit later on for like an anniversary or something.
Yeah, something like that. They got together and did something. Yeah, I don't remember what specifically though, but you're right, they did get back together for that. So sad.
Mm-hmm. First Betty White, now Bob Barker. Fuck.
I don't want to like continue the sad trend, but like it just fits. So I'm gonna keep going with that and say, since we were talking about Destiny and talking about people passing away, Bungie actually paid tribute to one of their developers too.
No.
Yeah, he passed away. Was it back in September of last year? Apparently from lung cancer.
Oh no shit. Okay.
Yeah, it was only 6 months after his diagnosis too,
Ooh.
which is so damn fast. But the developer's name was Corey Barron. He actually got to start with Sony Santa Monica working on the original Call of Duty, God of War stuff.
Okay.
He was he was a technical artist for the interfaces for God of War 2 and the lead technical artist for the interfaces for God of War 3, and he did the UI for God of War Ascension. And then he moved on over to Bungie and was working on their UI and UX design. He was a senior technical UI and UX designer.
Okay.
But since he had worked there for a while, they ended up... We'll have to check this out too, just to see if it's there.
Yeah.
Because I swear I've seen it on the side and just never paid attention to it because it was binary.
Right.
But on their destination page, when you're like picking where you want to go in the game,
Mm-hmm.
along the right side of that screen, there's just binary, which is just zeros and ones. And it was a handful of those like blocks of coding.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know how binary is set up, but it's set up into like 8 bits of zeros and ones.
Yeah.
And multiple bits of zeros and ones, put in specific orders, can create words.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of using zeros and ones, they use like diamonds, which are either filled or empty,
Mm-hmm.
which represent the zeros or the ones in that case.
Right.
But when you get it translated, it ends up spelling out the dude's name.
Oh, that's freaking cool.
That's a very cool way to, what is it, to pay homage to him, especially since he was a UI developer and they built it into the destination page.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to check this out after.
Yes.
Rest in peace, buddy.
Yeah. It's a neat way to pay tribute to him, put him in the game.
Oh, yeah.
In a way that fits. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any happy news so we can get off the sad stuff?
You can depending on if you pre-ordered Starfield or not, you can probably play it up to 5 days earlier than the original launch date.
Hey, that's exciting. I did not pre-order it just because I can get it with Game Pass, but I know once I get my hands on it, I'm going to buy it anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to stay as blind as possible about things, especially since there's been a lot of leaks, which we will get into in a minute. But yeah, what you getting at about Starfield?
Oh, but they just announced the PC specs you need if you want to run the game. At minimum, your OS, you have to have an OS of Windows 10 or higher. If you want the specific version, 21H1, if that means anything to anybody. It doesn't mean anything to me, unfortunately. I just know I can't run it. You need an AMD Ryzen 5 2600X processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, AMD Radeon RX 57 for a graphics card, or an NVIDIA GeForce 1070 Ti. Did I say that right?
Yes.
And DirectX, you need version 12, 125 gigabytes of available storage. And
that I'm surprised about.
And they said for additional notes, an SSD is required. So it's not just an external. It's not just a hard drive. It needs to be an SSD.
I mean, that probably is like it's recommended, but you don't really need it, and it's probably just for loading stuff. Like I said, I was excited. I was surprised that it's 125 gigs only, considering how meaty that game seems. I figured it'd be a lot more, like 150 plus.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 was 150 something alone.
I'm just wondering if it has to be internet connected type of thing, where like a good bulk of it has to be stored on the game, but the rest of it is being streamed off an internet connection type of thing.
Nope. It's just a straight download, man.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I Fuck.
You seem surprised.
A little bit. But even then,
See, now you understand why I'm surprised it's only 125 gigs.
A little bit.
But I guess, totally different game, but base Destiny is like 110, 120, something like that. And they compressed the hell of it to get it down to that point because it was getting bloated. I mean, now on the Xbox it's up to 190 because it's including and keeping all the seasons together.
Yeah.
But yeah. I need to clear off space on my Xbox to make room for Starfield for next week.
Can't you connect an external hard drive?
No. This is going to be one of those games that is... for me specifically, since it's Game Pass, it has to be on either the internal or one of the expansion cards. For the external hard drives, it can... This is so dumb, and I hate this part of the Xbox, but for Game Pass games and for Xbox Series X or S enhanced games, those have to be on the internal or on a storage card.
Okay.
Anything else, such as a game without that kind of stuff, like just the game itself, or Xbox's games with gold games, can be put on an external hard drive. The X and S enhanced games or Game Pass games or anything of that similarity cannot be put on an external. And I don't know why.
Now, you're going to have to refresh my memory. Game Pass is like the PlayStation Plus catalog, right?
Right. Correct.
Okay, so then that means PlayStation Plus. Okay, so then there is a plus that Sony has against the Xbox, because you can have stuff on your external hard drive. You just have to have the subscription and an internet connection, and you could still
Right.
play it.
Now, I believe that the enhancements are optional.
Yeah.
I just haven't toyed around with it enough to find a way to turn that off and only download a base version of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the enhancements are nice.
Yeah.
It helps, so.
If you're going to be playing
each
a
their
new
own, I
shiny,
guess.
if you're going to play a new shiny game, better do it with all the bells and whistles.
Hell yeah.
But I think that's all. I know I can't play it on my computer, so I'm screwed.
Yeah. That's okay. You are always free to come over here and play.
This is true.
Ooh, nope, never mind. I was thinking about something, but it won't work because it was Xbox One X, not this. So, doesn't work.
Boo.
Yeah. I just have to spend like an hour rearranging all my stuff to make space because I have to download it so that way it's ready to go on the 6th.
You have fun with that.
Oh, I will. This is going to be the one and only thing that's going to tear me away from Destiny for a while.
Boo.
Sorry.
You got to make
I mean,
time.
I'll hop on Discord and talk to you guys, but I'm going to space in a different sense.
Like, you son of a bitch.
Also, the embargo is up in 2 days, so people who have played it early will be allowed to talk about it.
Ooh.
So now we're going to have... Next week is going to be all Starfield. That's what the podcast is going to be. Just covering all the shit that people are talking about. It's going to be hard not to.
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
So since you mentioned PS Plus, some of the stuff has leaked from it?
At least one of the games. In timing with the reboot for Saints Row, it's supposedly heading to PS Plus for the September free game. They haven't identified the other two games, but they're saying that one, so they can guarantee at least that much.
Is this specifically the reboot is coming? Not the original?
I want to say yes. I want to say it's the rebooted version, which is
a very interesting get for them.
a little bit. I'm like, why would you put that out for free if that's the rebooted version?
Yeah.
Or is the rebooted version not doing as well as they originally intended?
I'm guessing you don't remember us talking about it.
I do not.
It was a doo-doo game.
Okay, then that
People were not happy with like the gameplay and like just shitting on the writing. It was so bad. It was like, hey, fellow teens, look at me kind of thing.
Yes, I remember now you talking about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, my memory's horrible lately.
It's fine. It was a while ago too, so no big.
Listen, my memory's so bad to the point that I had to get a pill box to remind me that I took my pill.
Oh man.
I'm going downhill.
It's one of those things.
Oh yeah.
But I have my wife to remind me to take my shit every day, so that's my pillbox.
That works. Trying to think.
Oh, besides, whatchamacallit, besides the embargo being up in 2 days, and besides TMNT's DLC coming out in 2 days, we're also getting a Nintendo Direct. And it's going to cover 15 minutes worth of the new Super Mario Wonder game.
Ooh.
Yes, that's all that they've said. I wonder how much they're actually going to show and share and tell about it. But I'm excited.
This is going to be the first role for the new Mario, right?
First role for the new voice, yep, and the first 2D Mario in a while. I say 2D, it's side-scrolling, but it's 3D side. It's 2.5D. It's 3D, but it's only side-scrolling shit.
Right.
But yes, the first proper 2D side-scrolling Mario in a long time. And it looks very full of character.
That's sarcasm?
No, I'm serious.
Oh, okay.
I'm being dead serious. There's a lot more talking from, like, there's flowers in the background that you walk by and will talk to you. Mario seems a lot more animated. A lot of the animations that go on are, like, it seems like full of life and shit. When things go on, that Mario interacts with, there's a lot more animation to it.
Yeah.
It seems a lot more alive and animated.
Ooh. Okay.
And again, you turn into an elephant somehow, and I want to know why.
Yeah,
It's a power-up he picks up. I don't know.
So no more Tanuki. You big up.
Boo. That hopefully. I mean, that's like one of the staple ones.
I thought it was.
We'll see what they get.
I thought it was specific to a game, though.
It came out in Mario 3, and then they included it in a couple of different ones, too. What is it? We were playing Super Mario 3D World, and the Tanuki suit's in that, too.
Okay.
Yep. That was the Wii or Wii U originally, and then they redid it with, what was it? The Mario Cat Island part. Bowser's Fury, that's what that was called.
Okay.
Yeah, I got those two together in a dual pack. Yay. Something. I'm going to save like the Starfield thing for last because it's interesting.
Okay.
But I'm also... This year is just like stacked with games towards the end of the year, and it's just being added to now. Because from Gamescom... Xbox and Larian Studios worked out whatever issues they were having or whatever deal they needed to make, they worked out a thing to where they're going to be able to put out Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox finally this year.
Yay!
The only caveat with that is that there will be no split screen on Series S because that was their hang-up.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if Phil Spencer was just like, hey, don't worry about it. Don't give a shit right now. Let's just put the game out on the system. We'll work on it later. Especially since, PlayStation's getting it next week. So they probably are like, fuck, we're behind now. We need to get this out on our stuff too.
Right, exactly.
But that's exciting. I can't wait to play that too. I got so excited. I'm like, I gotta wait until next year to play it. And then they announced that they're going to do it this year at some point. I'm like, yes, finally.
Christmas
I'm
present?
so excited for that game. Yeah, maybe. I mean, hopefully it's before then. But if it's coming around December, I'll say, hey, get that for me. That's fine with me.
Would you?
Since you mentioned... What?
I was going to say, is there any chance of it going to the Switch?
No. That game... I mean, there's always the possibility that they could go the route of... what's a few of them? Like Control or... the new Call of Duty, or there's another one in there. What they're going to do with the Metal Gear Solid Delta,
Yeah.
they could do the streaming, like how they do game streaming for their stuff. They could do that for it because that game is pretty intensive with like gameplay and systems and stuff. So much so to, in my opinion, I don't think that the Switch would even be able to handle it. Because even with like the Steam Deck, you can put it on the Steam Deck, but you have to turn things way down or turn a lot of different things off in the settings for it to run well.
Damn.
And the Steam Deck is literally a handheld PC. So for the Switch running on such old hardware, I highly doubt it.
And this is when we find out Switch 2 is coming out.
You're not wrong. There was a rumor actually that was floating around. Like someone was saying they have credible sources, but nothing was linked or anything like that. But they were saying the next Switch's code name or could be called the Nintendo Focus. And it could have a very similar form factor to what the Switch is now. But obviously like more beefy hardware on the inside, and that's really all that they've said. But yeah, I don't see it working on the Switch. Switch 2, maybe. Especially if it's on parity with current gen, or even if it's somewhere in between last gen and now.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I don't know. Nintendo's they've put out some pretty... I don't even know what the word I'm trying to say is here. They've put out some really well-made games that seems like it wouldn't work on their system, but it works really well.
Yeah.
But it just, to me, in my opinion, Baldur's Gate 3 is too far beyond what the Switch is capable of.
Okay. Fair
Now,
enough.
what do I know? I'm not a developer that works for Nintendo.
That is fair enough.
I was going to give you the next story that I have on the list because I believe you have brought up a lot of the Rockstar stuff beforehand.
Okay. No shit.
Yeah, man.
So, what he's alluding to is Vice President of Writing Michael Unsworth has left Rockstar after 16 years. He had joined Rockstar back in 2007 as a senior creative writer and was credited for writing dialogue for Pedestrians. Oh, Jesus.
He's come a long way since then.
Oh, yeah. Notable games that he's worked on: Grand Theft Auto 4, A Ballad of Gay Tony, The Lost and the Damned, Chinatown Wars, Midnight Club LA. Oh, he did Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, huh? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And Red Dead Redemption 2.
But yeah, holy shit, he did a lot over there. Holy crap.
Yep. And now I think all that's left at Rockstar is maybe one or two of some of the original people.
Oh, I can't think about it. 2007. That was 16
while
years
ago.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think it's set in stone yet, but there are rumors, or supposedly it's happening, that Rockstar is opening a new office in LA.
They don't have one in California yet?
No, dude, they have one in Andover here. They have one here. I think they have one in the UK. They have one more somewhere over in Europe, too, I think.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought they had one over there already.
I know, you would think so with all the other developers being out that way, too.
Why would they even want to in this climate, though? Especially with everybody leaving.
Why would Bungie want to open up a studio over there across the seas, too? That they're working on doing that right now.
True. I don't know. I just think that would be a bad move, seeing as everybody's trying to get the hell out of California.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, nothing set in stone, no solid information on it yet. Just that's what I've been reading.
Well, power to you, buddy. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
And also, since you said that people are trying to move out of LA, games industry, it's interesting that they want to do that, especially when a lot of developers are out that way. At least the US developers are a lot over on the West Coast, or close to it. But apparently, the video game industry is growing again after the slump, thanks to COVID and everything being pushed back, and chips being having the chip shortage and not being able to get hardware out the door and stuff like that.
Right.
Finally seeing some growth.
Yay! Yeah. Now let's see how long
I
that
didn't
lasts.
know that the it's actually looking good so far, especially with like the strong titles that are coming out at the end of this year and the expectation for what's coming next year.
Mm-hmm.
It should keep going up. Unfortunately, like some indie developers they were hit hard with, like, because of subscription things have slowed down. They're not getting a lot of money back. Like Xbox and Sony, the checks to Devolver and Tiny Build are, I think it's Tiny Build or Tiny Builder, I forget. Those are like getting smaller because subscriptions have kind of slowed or stagnated,
right,
and they're trying to find ways to bump those up. But apparently the NPD group changed their name. Did you know that?
I did not.
Apparently they're called Circana now.
What was the purpose of that?
Beats the hell out of me. I don't know. I just learned that after reading this thing, so interesting. But they expect 2023 to close with the industry up by 3%, reaching $58.3 billion.
Damn.
Yeah. And a lot of that is due to hardware sales going up, now that you can actually find them in stores and people are buying the systems now. Of course, Sony's the market lead on that, but still, the fact that people are able to find them and buy them now is good for the industry, I guess.
Right.
And that made up $7 billion alone, which is about 19% higher than last year. of the total.
Yeah.
Yay.
Which is good for us.
Yes. If you want to know, the trend so far for spending is up 1% over last year, and it's 12% higher than pre and early pandemic totals in a 12-month period.
No shit.
So it's looking better. Yeah, man. The thing with it, though, is that, like, a lot of that is being driven by households who are making, whether it's single or dual income or whatever it is, it's households that make about $100,000 or more. Obviously, they contribute more with purchases and stuff like that because they have that kind of income to do so.
Right.
Like I was mentioning earlier, mobile subscription and add-on sales have slowed down due in part to... Care to guess?
People being able to go out.
Nope, due to blockbuster releases. Due to these big-name games that are coming out and stuff, there's more focus on those, so they're not paying attention to the subscriptions or stuff, or saving their money for these big titles that are coming out. So it's interesting, that kind of give and take.
Yeah, but are the subscription prices really that bad? Like, granted, like with the place,
you only make so much money in a month. You know, you can only spread that so thin.
I get that, but I'm trying to think. I'm probably not. I'm only thinking in like the gaming industry. I'm probably not thinking across the board of like streaming services like Netflix and all that too. But
right, I was gonna say, take 1 minute and think about all the different subscription services that we have now. How everything is so damn fragmented.
Yeah. Because the way I'm thinking of it, I'm thinking of it from my perspective of like, yeah, a big title comes out, but the PlayStation Plus, because I have the higher tier right now, the highest tier right now, I paid it off for the year, so it's really not affecting me. And I didn't think that price would be that bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thinking, why would you stop that and not get the either or type of thing? And I'm not by any means
they're not part of these subscriptions, so you're not driving sales to those things.
Yeah.
I mean, Starfield is the exception, I guess. It's been touted for Game Pass, and that's all they've been talking about, really.
Yeah.
Did you know that they also, like, they stopped not indefinitely, but recently they cut off the whole $1 for Game Pass thing, like, a couple weeks ago because Starfield's coming out, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're, like, cutting back on Game Pass and increasing the price just before Starfield's coming out, so it's like...
Assholes.
Not really hiding anything. Very obvious what you're doing there, but I get it. It's going to be a big title. They want to drive as much sales as they can for it.
Right. I think that...
But that's one of those instances where they have something to drive the sales for that subscription service. These other games and stuff, you have to buy the game. It's not part of anything.
I'm trying to form my opinion real quick about that. I think that's where like the being forced to type of thing. I wouldn't do it just out of spite. If I want to play a specific game, I'm gonna buy the game. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. You're not gonna force me to get a subscription,
right? I mean, you're not forced to do that for Starfield either.
Yeah.
You can buy it standalone. Plus, you buy it on what is it? You buy it on one, you have it on the other. Like if you buy it on the Xbox, it's cross-saved to the PC, and you can play it on there as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Yay.
Doesn't sound like a problem I'm gonna have right now.
Nope. And I'm not taking it anywhere else either. I'm gonna play it on my Xbox, so I'm good. But yeah, industry is on the rise. Good stuff. We'll see how much it can grow, though.
Agreed. And actually put effort into it, not let's try to pump out as much crap as we can.
You are touching on some things I wanted to talk to you about after this next story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So since we're on the topic of Starfield yet again, there was a pretty prolific leaker once the game started showing up in places, who was sharing a lot of gameplay footage and talking about it and telling stuff out to the public. He is now facing up to 12 years in jail for doing so.
Oh, fuck.
It's only part of the thing, though. That was basically what got him caught, because he was like, touting himself and telling on himself basically online.
Yeah.
So this, I'm not even going to bother saying this dude's name because it's not worth it. He's a piece of shit for doing this because you're trying to fuck over another company, whether or not you like the game and you think it's great. Don't do that.
Right.
But he worked for a warehouse, and he would take stock from the warehouse itself and try to sell it on his own stuff, especially with Starfield. So they nabbed him for... he's been indicted on felony charges for theft, which includes copies of Starfield. But he also had a handful of other games and stuff that he was trying to sell on his own little page as well. Besides that... did I mention he was trying to... Yeah, he was attempting to sell them into... He got himself caught by leaking all these videos saying his name and putting all this shit out there. Besides being nabbed for theft, he also had... I guess there was an illegal possession of a firearm and a controlled substance, which was later found out to be marijuana.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's like don't commit... a misdemeanor when you're already committing a felony kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you got him on all that shit. And he could be facing, what is it? With all the stuff together, it looks like he could be facing anywhere from 2 to 12 years. And I'm going to guess that they're going to throw the book at him.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Because this
Yeah.
isn't the first instance that we've heard of this type of situation. Because you mentioning that reminded me of what happened with Kingdom Hearts 3. Where the hype was so...
Remind me, because I don't remember.
It was the exact same type of situation. Somebody worked from somewhere where the games were, and they snagged a couple copies and tried to sell the game before the game was released.
Halo Reach did the same fucking thing. There was some French distributor or whatever that someone got the game and was trying to pass it out early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Assholes.
Trying to fuck it up for everybody else.
basically.
Yay.
You would think after hearing these stories that it would stop
That
people.
people would learn?
Yeah. Because it's not like you're going to get much. I highly doubt the amount...
Absolutely not, considering he was trying to sell these things for $200, $250 a pop.
Fuck you! Holy crap!
Just because it was early. I know, right?
Fuck that. Kiss my ass, $250 a pop.
Now you sound about as mad as last week about the PlayStation Portal.
Because this is just straight stupidity. Holy crap.
Dude, he was trying to sell it for as much as the PlayStation Portal was.
Fucking A.
How does that make you feel?
Fuck the Portal.
Oh, what did I tell you last week that was just making you more mad about it, too? I gotta find that now. Because I felt so bad. I'm like, hey, look at this. This is also news. And you're like, fuck that shit. Oh, yeah. Because it was as much as the Nintendo Switch Lite. And then they did a little side-by-side comparison for it. The Switch Lite is its own system. It has Bluetooth. It can play games offline and locally. Works with wireless headphones, and it has a 5 to 7 hour battery life. Whereas the PlayStation Portal requires a PS5 console, does not have Bluetooth, needs to be connected to Wi-Fi, only works with the PlayStation Link compatible headphones, and only has a 3 to 4 hour battery life. Oh yeah.
And I wouldn't even buy the Switch Lite.
I mean, if you really wanted to switch and you wanted to play something, that would be the way to go. I would recommend getting the one with the dock, though. It's nice to play it on the TV.
Oh yeah, that's my every intention. I refuse to get the point of a Switch is so you have the choice between mobile and docking.
I guess, but it really depends on who you are, too. Some people just don't give a shit and they want it as a portable device.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of like the gimmick at the beginning, was taking it with you on the go and playing it wherever. Now they just made it like a dedicated on-the-go system.
All right.
Or I guess a dedicated on-the-go version of it.
Still, not for me. I'm good.
What, the Switch Lite or the Portal?
Neither.
Either. Sorry, man.
That's not.
All right. What?
No, I was gonna say, well, not too bad. We're pretty much almost there.
I'd say with cutting and everything, we'll probably be at 40 minutes.
Mm.
Either way. One more, just so I know where that was. So I have a question for you because I was listening to a podcast earlier, and specifically, I was listening to the why did I just lose it? The No Clip podcast, which I don't know if you remember who they were, but they do basically video game documentaries.
Okay.
They sit down with developers and studios and document the games that are coming out, and talk to them about their inspiration, how that came to be, the process for making them and stuff.
Yep.
And they were working on uploading a bunch of old video game like trailers and showcases and things like that from VHS and different formats. On the recent podcast, like the head of it, Danny O'Dwyer, was saying, he was basically saying game studios and stuff should take a year off because there's just so many games coming out between the last couple of years and this year alone. There's just so many damn titles and so many things to play that we can afford to take at least a year off. Why not? Just do it. Let people play what's out right now and spend that time innovating on stuff. And basically the question he was posing was, have video games kind of peaked right now? Has there really been any innovation or things changing in the last couple of years that have kind of like shifted the paradigm of the games industry itself? I mean, think about it. We get Call of Duty on a yearly basis.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Assassin's Creed changed formats to what it was known with, Odyssey and Valhalla.
Yeah.
And now they're just basically going back to basics and making, not literally in their words, but quote-unquote, a good Assassin's Creed game. They're going back to basics, doing what they know got them their foot into the industry to begin with, and what people have been asking for.
Right.
Do you think that things have kind of hit a wall and, like, there's enough games out there that the industry could afford to take a break and just focus on the games that are out currently? Even if you don't buy them now, maybe buy them next year or whatever to keep the industry propped up. So that way these studios can actually take some time, breathe, work on some new innovative ideas or titles or anything like that.
That actually brings a point to an article I read earlier. I'm surprised I didn't put it in a note. Do I agree with that sentiment? Yes. Do I see video games doing that? Absolutely not. Just because, like you said, there's a lot of stuff that's came out. They're push, trying to put to get all these products out. And
but do you think that hurts or helps the industry, really?
Both. It helps the industry as far as volume wise, but it's hurting the industry as far as innovation and
quality.
Yeah, and quality. Seeing as one of our biggest gripes lately is them releasing games that they're immediately coming out with patches.
Yeah.
For game-breaking glitches. Where before, prior to us having internet and shit like that, these games had to be tested thoroughly before they were released, or else they were fucked.
Yeah, Starfield's being touted as like the least buggy Bethesda game that's coming out, which, sure, that's good. So that means that there is going to be like a day one patch, but it's not going to like change anything significant. It's just like whatever minor bugs that they didn't get to at first. And Baldur's Gate 3 was like a perfect game when it came out too. There was really no bugs or glitches, or like if they were, it was super minimal. But of course these developers and titles have had that time to work on that stuff. I mean, Starfield got pushed so many damn times to do so, and Larian Studios took 4 years to make their game to their own spec. So they at least had that time and bandwidth to do so. Right. A lot of people or developers don't have that kind of time.
I get that they don't have that kind of time, but at the same time, it brings back the conversation that we had, was it last week or the week before? If you don't have the time to do a quality game, I don't care what your resources are. Stay within your resources. If you do not have the time to release a quality game, you shouldn't be releasing a game to begin with. Because if it's that buggy that it's going to be game breaking and people aren't going to enjoy it because of the way the game is handling, then it shouldn't happen.
I agree with that statement for the most part, except that a lot of these developers are getting money from whatever place, and they're beholden to their time frame.
Right.
If they're quoted at a certain time, and the people who are giving them the money say they're not going to budge on anything, their hands are kind of tied. They have to do the best that they can and then work on it afterwards.
Yes, their hands are kind of tied, but how did we go from where the first shitty ass game that was ever developed was dumped into a landfill because nobody would buy it, and now everybody's like, "Fuck it, we'll pay hand over fist for crap," and hope that they fix it along the way.
I feel like that's subjective, though, because one person's crap is not necessarily another's either. Like, some people will say a game is crap and not like how it plays. And sure, like, on a subjective level, it doesn't play the great. It's maybe stiff in its movements, or, like, the puzzles are lame, or there's bugs in the game.
Right.
But there are some people who just love the shit out of these games and will buy them no matter what because they find it fun. It's not a problem to them. I feel like that's really subjective.
Okay. And along those lines, I do agree with that part. I was leaning more towards like needing to do patches where the game's not working.
Right. So I think a good example of that would be Redfall when it got released.
Right.
That was a broken mess and needed a lot more time and effort. But I guess either Xbox forced their hand or what was it? Arcane was just like, we got to put it out. We can't push it off any further, and then we'll just work on it afterwards.
That's the studio's
and
fault.
That's really not how it should be.
Right. That's the distributor's fault at that point, or the big head honcho, however you want to name it.
It could fall on both of them as well.
Right. Well,
what was?
Yeah.
We never got back to it. What was the article that you were talking about?
Big name. One of the an article that I was reading. Apparently, a studio closed its doors like a couple of weeks after they released one of like the best games this year. I'm trying to remember what the hell the name of the game was.
Oh fuck yeah! I read that too. It's just like they burned all their money in development, I think, and they just had to close.
Yeah, because they were too stressed out. They couldn't handle it anymore. They didn't have the budget anymore. They just shut down.
Find it.
It was something Gambit. I don't remember. But it's also like But it's also reminiscent of what the story that I was telling you about the studio that did Life of Pi. They made an amazing movie, and then they shut down because they went bankrupt.
I think I found it. Weeks after releasing an acclaimed game, a 15-year-old studio shutting down. This is from GameSpot. After the well-received Desperados 3 and Shadow Gambit games, Me is calling it a day in the risky and demanding games industry. Wow. Apparently, Shadow Gambit: The Cursed Crew will be its final game, as the studio will be shutting down over the next couple months. They explained that a variety of reasons led to its decision to close up shop, with the quote-unquote increased financial pressure and level of risk in producing a video game being a big factor. Game creation requires an extraordinary amount of energy and passion, resources that ultimately pulled developers away from their loved ones and families. So it just sounds like it was too taxing on them afterwards.
Right.
They also said, specifically the studio said, we also have to acknowledge that our future production costs are growing faster than potential revenues of our genre. The increased financial pressure and level of risk became unsustainable. That's the thing too. Development is not getting any easier. If anything, it's getting harder.
Yeah.
And prices just keep going up in all senses of all senses of the word. In every corner of any kind of production or the world, basically, just prices are going up. The cost of living fucking is skyrocketing.
Yeah, basically. That sentiment is the very mirror of what's going on in VFX studios right now.
Yeah.
The bar is being set so high. Yeah, the studios can throw millions and millions of dollars at them, but if they don't have time to do what they need to do, all that you're going to get is crap and burnout and studios shutting down because they can't handle it.
Burnout's the biggest thing, yeah. And I mean, you can throw money at them, but at some point, money's not going to be enough, or there's just not going to be enough money.
All right. Well, I want to say is like the perfect example is look at the most recent Marvel movies, or even their TV shows.
Look at the shows, yeah.
Yeah. Disney threw a crap ton of money at it, but their VFX
Doesn't make it good.
Right. They were so rushed, and the VFX studios were so overtaxed that they couldn't do shit. It looked crap. It looked like crap. Like, for example,
You know, it'd be cool if Bob Iger took a fucking pay cut and paid everybody else, but good luck with that happening.
yeah, because after he did it with last time he did that was when Chapek took over. He was willing to give a pay cut, but then they got fucked over.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck you guys. I'm keeping my money this time around.
Well, let me go back to something I mentioned earlier was innovation.
Yeah.
When was the last time any game released that was really innovative in the industry? What changed things?
There hasn't.
Does anything come to mind? What game can you think of that kind of like changed the way you looked at how a game is played, or games in a specific genre that you liked? It put a spin on it that really changed how things were. Or shifted it, I guess.
Jesus.
This is the little bit of research I was doing before we started.
For me personally, as far as my repertoire of games, I want to say it would have to be recently. The most recent was Destiny 1. Just because it put a different spin on shooter games, space games, because I didn't care for Halo. I'm sorry. I'm going to say this right now.
That's fine.
I was never a fan of it. I was even very skeptical about Destiny 1. The only reason I got into it was because my father-in-law liked it, and he was like, hey, I need somebody to play with me, and he got me the game. So I gave it a shot. That's when I realized it was completely different than freaking Halo. Before that, I would have to say Final Fantasy X. Mind you, this is out of my wheelhouse of games. I'm sure there's other games out there that impacted the industry before that, but for me, that's the turning point in the system, because that was the first, I want to say, blockbuster game that Square had put out that was a Final Fantasy game that wasn't across multiple discs, and it looked freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, I was going to say they changed the art style for it, but it's very similar to the FMVs from Final Fantasy VII and the look of Final Fantasy VIII.
Right.
They kind of have that, I don't know what else to call it, but like the Final Fantasy look.
Right, exactly. This is that was the first time seeing that it is possible to have cinematic quality graphics for an active game.
Right. I have a perfect example of things that literally shifted the paradigm of the games industry and became like a focus or something that you needed to have.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2009, a little old game called Minecraft came out on PC.
Oh, yeah.
Now, name me a game that does not have some sort of crafting element in it.
Oh, fuck.
You're hard-pressed to find a game that does not incorporate some sort of crafting in it now. It's become a thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Outside of RPG-type games, you didn't see that.
You're right. And I would say, like, that's the biggest one. For example, like, back in the day, you had Halo and Call of Duty going neck and neck at things.
Mm.
But they were fighting over the multiplayer space. Halo itself showed that you can put really good story in a first-person shooter, but the multiplayer was like, they kind of changed the way you looked at arena shooters.
Right.
Call of Duty, also, same thing. they were more about like twitch reflexes and being able to work with your team, whereas Halo was like you had to run as a squad and team shoot people to take them down and come out on top.
Right.
It just basically changed the way you looked at those kind of games and how you played them. Before that, I mean, there was even Mario. You had platformers and things like that, but I would argue that Mario was like the one that changed how you looked at it, and people started building games similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I already mentioned Assassin's Creed earlier. How they're going back to basics, because that was like they kind of reinvented parkour in a video game. Sure, you had Mirror's Edge, which was a first-person parkour game, but Assassin's Creed incorporated parkour as like a main selling point of the game, and actually kept the mystery of that. That's another thing. The mystery in video games and their narrative has kind of disappeared as well. Sure, you have twists and turns in the story, but there's no like air of mystery around it. Whereas Assassin's Creed, when it first came out, they didn't tell you jack shit about what that game was about.
Mm-hmm.
They just showed you were this guy, you were an assassin, you're running up on buildings and stuff like that. And every so often you would get like glitches in the game, and they were like, you'll find out about that when the game comes out. And then it comes to find out like you're just a dude in the regular world where you're put in a computer and you're reliving all these simulations from his ancestors.
Right.
There's no air of mystery around like the narrative of games and stuff anymore. It's let's sell you a movie type game with some twists, and that's it.
Basically, and that sentiment brings that statement goes back to where the Season of Defiance, where we knew right off the bat the way the story was going, Amanda Holiday was going to die.
Yeah.
It was the way stories.
That's hard though. It's hard to like telegraph a twist without giving it away too.
Yes.
Games are weird.
Games are weird, but at the same time, we've seen in older games where it took us by surprise, and we had no idea that was going to happen.
Right. I guarantee you. This is just really quick. I guarantee you that if if Bungie turned around and took like the entire story of Destiny and put it into several books, like that thing, and literally from D1 up until the end now, and put it in a book format with their writing, it would be some of the best stories that you read. Outside of gameplay, nothing's getting fucked with.
Right.
They'd be able to tell the exact story that they want, and it would be excellent. But when you add gameplay to that narrative, it kind of changes how you have to tell that story and try to figure out how to work it in without ruining stuff.
Right. Do I think they need... bringing it back to like the original question, do I think they need to take a break? Yes. Absolutely. I think I agree that we have enough volume that people need to be able to take a break, relax, discuss what the next story is going to be, and go from there and build.
Mm-hmm.
But that would also mean the companies that are backing these games need to realize that too, and are going to be like, okay, we're okay with taking a break and taking a hit for a little bit while we try to milk what we have out. But that's not going to happen.
No. Because it doesn't push the industry forward.
Right.
That's the problem. We just need some more innovation and some way to make it happen.
Yeah, basically.
Hey.
I'm wondering what the next thing that's going to change things is going to be.
You and me both. I would definitely like to see.
I've been waiting to find that out because along those same lines, let me try that again. Along those same lines that we were talking about, the horror genre games kind of got a bump when Five Nights at Freddy's came out. That was a whole new thing where it was like, I don't know, it was a twist on the horror genre. Instead of having like Resident Evil and jump scares, well, this was a jump scare game, but instead of having things like Resident Evil and Silent Hill where it was more like psychological or monster oriented,
Yep.
this was tension. This is real actual stuff that you were in control of. You had to do things in the game, and if you fucked up, you knew that you were going to get jump scared by it, so you were trying everything you could not to.
Yeah.
And then you had a lot of games that were building off of that kind of idea after that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's another example of industry changing to some. Yeah.
Yep, and then I would say Minecraft is also to blame with this part, but like survival games are becoming a big thing too. Minecraft had its own survival mode where you were running around, you had to eat food and defeat monsters and stuff, but then a lot of other games kind of took that and ran with it too, because then you have literally a game called Don't Starve, which is basically what you're doing. You've got Sons of the Forest, which is you survive a plane crash and you have to survive in a forest where if you were literally not building to survive and protect yourself, some tribe of cannibals is going to kill you and get you. You had Slender Man back in the day, which was supposed to be like a psychological kind of thing, but that wasn't really survival.
Right.
But it's just like those kind of games kind of help push those genres forward. They actually innovated on those areas. Some of these were just not getting that kind of innovation anymore.
Yeah, because even if you think about it, the survival aspect or like that style has been around for quite a while if you think about it, but just like iconic games from it aren't really pushing it forward as often.
Right. These other titles kind of like took it and put their own spin on it, but
Right.
that spin that they put on it pushed that genre forward,
Right.
and it has become like synonymous with it now.
Right. Because games like Harvest Moon and stuff like that, that's technically a survival type of game, and it's popular. But I don't...
Right, and I would, along those lines, I would argue that Stardew really grabbed that and pushed it forward too with how much stuff they added to it.
Right.
Because now you have a lot of games that are building on that formula as well. Like Fae Farm, for instance, they're taking the Harvest Moon aspect and the Stardew monster hunting aspect.
I know what's the most nuts part about all this?
What?
None of this would have happened if it wasn't for Oregon Trails.
I mean, sure, to an extent, why not?
That is the ultimate
survival game.
That was a lot of management and shit like that. You're right, it was all about survival. It's like, fuck, do I carry all this meat with me, or do I just drop off one of my kids and leave them in the forest?
Am I going to die of dysentery?
Motherfucker!
I'm almost there. I died. Fuck. You're not wrong, to some extent. They all these old games are built on the backs of what came before. It's just we need the innovation of those games to push things forward. And I guess things have kind of stagnated for a little while.
Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, all the unionizations and stuff like that is going to help ease some of this stuff.
It could.
I would hope.
Yeah, there might be some more wiggle room for things.
I like something new. I would like that. Actually, I would like to see people work on the VR aspect more. To be honest, like I know there are VR games. But
Really?
yeah. To be honest, because there are VR games. Don't get me wrong, and I'm sure there are those that are fun. But a lot of the ones I've been seeing have been like janky and gimmicky, and it's fun for a little bit. But
You got it right there. It's a gimmick. It's not a full-on game. There are some that are like trying to be a full-on game, but VR still feels like a gimmick.
right. I think that would probably be the next step to go.
Ooh, the only one that I can actually name that is a full-blown game with VR as like the thing to it is a game called Trover Saves the Universe. VR is just a part of it, but it's a full-blown game where you are controlling a character and doing things in it.
Right.
They ported it over to consoles after a while so you can play it as a normal game, but it was a VR first game.
I'll have to look into that one.
It was made by Squanch Games.
Okay.
Same people who did, oh god, what was that game that just came out? Why can't I think of it now? High on Life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But no, I can see that helping, or at least that being the next step if people do it right.
Yeah, I can see that too. It needs more of an adoption rate. Adoption rate is what I meant to say. It needs to be widely adopted, but it also It's got that problem where the Wii was like, it was its console, it was great, and a lot more than just gamers liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But once you got into it, it felt like it was a gimmicky console. Got to find a way to get out of that kind of mentality.
Right. They'd have to do it right at this point, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it would have to be like a good couple of games that I think if they designed it the right way, it could work.
I agree.
I'm just trying to think what.
Question is, what would that look like?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can sort of see Destiny sort of working well in that type of environment. But you'd have to be in first person all the time, though.
Not to mention VR makes a lot of people sick. Motion sick.
Yeah. Oh fuck! I didn't even think.
Tough.
I didn't even think about that part. Fuck.
Mind you, I've never...
It's a problem for someone smarter than us.
Basically. Because like I said, the last time I did VR was back when we were kids, and that was at like an arcade.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a janky setup. Oh.
That's a future problem. We'll get there.
Yes, it is. So with that being
All
said,
right. I was going to say, you ready to call it?
yeah, let's call it.
Yeah. We got games to play before we go to bed.
Yes, we needed to do some research for the next episode.
Yeah. I'll tell you all about Starfield next time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so ready for that game. I can't wait.
I'm so ready.
So where can they...
Huh?
You're so what?
I'm still can't wait to continue playing the Season of the Witch.
Okay. I thought you were actually going to say a game, but yes. The season is really good so far. You'll find out about that when we record on Friday, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
All
Mommy Eris.
right, guys.
We're
All right.
gonna get going. Good night.
Yeah, you do it. Where do they find us? How dare you?
Fine. Get.
Mr. Impatient.
Yes, I am. You can find
I
us.
have no room to talk, but still.
You can find us on all the socials like Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter,
Shut up. It's Twitter.
Instagram. We're now on YouTubes, and anywhere you can listen to a podcast. Yes, I said YouTubes.
Yes.
Get over it.
Yeah, I know. Don't you tell me to get over it. There's a game called Getting Over It with Benefati.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, bye.